Right, and we are back with the 5USC United States Cup with some more Major League action. Gonna be checking what we have, as it looks like Virginia has won the role. Seeing DT2, DT3 ban from Virginia. Just give me a second to catch up. Hidden 2, and I missed their first ban. So let me see if I can find it. Easy 1. Okay, and the first pick is for Virginia Red. This is Major League, of course. And it is a first pick, hidden 3. Let me just make sure that everything on the stream is working as intended. Okay, and we look to be good. All right. Just making sure we're really good now. And here we are, back with everything back up. I need to pull up some FGs. We're still so scuffed. I'm so sorry, everyone. All right, we're here. I think we're finally good to go. Virginia A versus Arizona A. We're back at it again with some more 5USC action. 2026, we have Virginia and Arizona already in the lobby and ready to get started with the first map. JLHF's coming out, and it's going to be hidden 3. Mr. No Life, the gimmick player, not able to play any of the maps in their first match of the quarterfinals. And finally coming in for one. Going to be accompanied by NCO Bop and Takora, and surprisingly no Zeke, their evergreen perma lobby, who's played basically every map so far in this tournament for them. Not going to be in for this one. Of course, going to be looking at Steve Sidetrack Day, also known as Deppy Depster. I is the best, their new guy this year, coming in to replace Lenny in for them. Pretty good on the hidden and hard rock, although not too sure about Deppy on the hidden. We'll have to see how that works out for him. And already finding some early struggles, as is probably the best. Be trade out by Takora and NCO Bop, however, and actually there's no FCs remaining on the side of Arizona. Everyone finding early misses. There goes Mission No Life as well. So going into the break, it is just Steve on a bit of a recovery here. Yeah, everyone has already found a miss somewhere at some point, one point or another. But a little bit of a better recovery group for Virginia, giving them about 100k score lead at the moment. And note that Arizona did ban this map last match. That was against Illinois A team. They did opt for that, as well as in the Easy 1 ban, which they did repeat here. So choosing to ban Hidden 2 instead today. Maybe Mr. No Life feeling a little bit better. But maybe not quite good enough, as there's a full team reset, and Pi is the best is still holding onto his combo here. This is already 300,000 score, and that is a lot when that's basically the entire score of Arizona at the moment. And Pi is still holding, my goodness. They have almost double of Arizona's score right now. The longer he holds, the closer he gets to a 1v3. Finally going to be dropping the combo. A bit of a miss snap there, but yeah, that is more than enough work done at this point. There's little hope for Arizona to come back and double their score in the last quarter of the map, and yeah, lots of struggles everywhere. Meantime, Steve has also put up a quiet, nice performance, 350k climbing. But, yeah, Virginia more than doubling Arizona's score on this first pick of theirs. Going to be a pretty strong one at that. Steve closing out a nice combo into the ending to almost match Pi's score. And that is a good start for Virginia. So taking a moment to talk about these teams now that first pick is out of the way. Of course, both of these teams winning their first round lower bracket match in the quarterfinals, and now moving on to their second. Arizona taking it 6-3 over Illinois, and Virginia taking theirs also in 6-3 fashion over North Carolina. The bans there were a little bit different, banning out the Hardock 1 and the Nomad 3. Now switching to a DT2, DT3 double tapping ban. Maybe missing some players in either that match or this one. Not sure entirely what is going on there, but Zeke taking that as a sign of weakness and immediately pouncing with a Nomad 5 pick. Virginia, historically a pretty good team in the upper half. Only having a weak initial showing in 5USC before consistently being in the top half of teams every year. These past 2 years, in fact, even finishing top 8. And Arizona in for a bit of a breakout year. This is already their best finish yet. Their first time in the top 16 teams. We'll see just how far they can go with their seeding this year. Seed 25, their best in the past few years, since their best seeding since 2023, where they seeded 22nd, and they still proceeded to go out 0-2 that year. And we do have, of course, the Nomad 5 coming in. Arizona, very much so a mechanics team, going to be picking into straightforward tapping and aim stuffs. Virginia, as we saw from that initial pick of theirs, the hidden 3, pretty good not just at the hidden, but also at alt and techie stuff. You're looking at Steve, their longtime player, their star of modern days. If I can remember to pull up the full roster history and have sufficient preparation for once this morning. Yes, Steve, ever since 2023, consistent member, a consistent force of this Virginia roster, alongside Dan Cordani and Alex the JPEG. Alex only stepping out for 2024, but in for all of their top 16 finishes, including the 2 past 8 finishes these past couple years. So Virginia not used to going out this early, and they're certainly hoping to continue their 5USC run here. But tapping is one of their weaker skills. Of course, they do have Deppy. It is in his name, Sidetracked Day on Osu. Very strong tapping player. Also played tapping for 5WC C team this past year. So really hoping to see a strong performance from him here. Going to be accompanied by Gray, their tapping specialist. Hard Rock and DT specialist. And Dan Cordani, who is a bit of an all-rounder, who is definitely more focused on hidden and gimmicky stuff. this is the thing about Virginia. They don't really have a super solid third man for tapping, hence the double DT2 and DT3 bans. And that being said, however, it is Arizona to find the first breaks, both Polar and NCL Bop. Huge, pretty standard roster for Arizona here. Zeke with the standard 3 choose 2 problem at hand. And his choose 2 this time is going to be Polar and NCL Bop. For the mechanics. But this is going to give a lead to Virginia at the moment, just about 150k, approaching 200k. As this combo lead continues, and there goes Zeke as well. Don't want to be breaking combo there of all places, and there goes NCO Bop to follow. And looking a little bit worse for wear in this map, as Virginia is still on for that 3-way FC at the moment. Holding nicely into the slider as we head into the back half of the map. And here we go into some of the longer bursts. The only 13-note bursts in this map, followed up by a long slider into some buzz sliders. I don't think anyone's going to be breaking on those buzz sliders. They're not super quick. They're not like 1/8 or 1/16 snap, I think. Pretty sure they're just 1/4 snap. But yeah, tapping weakness for Virginia, who? This is a really incredible performance from them as they're still holding on to 3 FCs, and Arizona continuing to struggle. I mean, this is already an 800,000 score in favor of Virginia. I think we can safely put this one away as a bit of an unfortunate first pick for Arizona. And I will say this is not a very good sign for them. Arizona looking pretty good in the tapping and general mechanics picks on their previous match. Gonna have to look for their specific No Mod 5 score. And yeah, it's actually basically, I mean, it's not really replicating their team score. The supporting scores were a little bit worse from Zeke and NCO Bop. But even if they had managed to replicate their team score, this is just a 3-way FC closed out for Virginia, as I was just totally not looking at the screen as that happened there. My goodness. That is some bad news bears for Arizona here. The skill set you should... skill set that you really should be trying to do well on. The tapping mechanics not going so well, and this is one of the easier maps for them, mind you. The easier maps in the pool. Bit of a rough start. Arizona might be thinking twice before picking into the rest of the tapping. And Virginia into the Hard Rock 2 Hyper Precision. CS8 this week on the AR-10. Incredibly gimmicky. Usually not seen so early, especially with AR-10. In tournaments in the earlier stages. But, yeah, gonna be putting on CS8 AR-10 map. I do think Arizona does have some players able to play this one, but you're looking back to the other CS8 aim maps, or the other CS8 maps in general. You're looking back to the Flex one, round of 32. Virginia putting up 1.6 million. That was a pretty tough map. And of course, you're looking to the round of 16 No Mod 5, that map almost being CS9. Now here we do have a direct comparison. Low score on the side of Virginia being 600k, and the highest score on Arizona being 490k on NCL Bob. Even an FC on Dan Cordani. Now, I don't think he's going to be in for this one just due to the AR-10 that we do have for this map, but instead, Alex, JPEG, and Steve going to be accompanied by Gray. I do think this is a little bit weaker of a squad than we saw on the No Mod 5 for them, but now you get Alex the JPEG on his AR-10 Hard Rock Comfort. This man, so good at the Hard Rock. Don't remember his performance all the way back in 5WC scrims back in December and January. Put up some crazy scores on the high SR pools back then. Ray, of course, a little bit of a question mark. See, unsure about his comfortability when the circles get this small. Of course, he is a bit of a hard rock specialist, so going to be fine on the normal 6.5, but CSA is a little bit of a different beast. Of course, we can say the same for the players on Arizona. It's going to be Zeke +2 again. This time it's NCL Bop and Burning Flare. Polish stepping out here. We do see some early breaks from the supporting combos. NCL Bop and Gray. So it is Zeke and Burning Flare and Alex JPEG. Steve all holding. Everyone hits the first alt pattern. Usually that's the first uptick of the map that will catch some players off, although Steve will be falling shortly afterwards. So ever so slight lead for Arizona at the moment as they manage to hold even with Virginia in the early parts of this map. I do say early parts of this map, and we are just about halfway point, and that's not where you want to see Zeke breaking. Fortunately, it is traded out with Steve and Gray, and NCL Bop will make it 2 for 2. So just Alex the JPEG against Burning Flare in this 1v1, but the accuracy difference is immense. 98, almost 99 AC for Alex the JPEG. Burning Flare all the way down to high 89, not even 90% at the moment. And this is what happens when you put Alex on his Hard Rock. He will hold his combo, and not just that, he will also hold incredible accuracy. This man is an absolute menace on this mod, and despite the combo matching for Burning Flare, the accuracy is what will eventually turn the score in favor of Virginia, and there goes Burning Flare, fizzling out on this map as Virginia roar into the lead. Are we just going to see an FC from Alex here? This could just straight up be the best score of the weekend right now. 98, almost 90 on hack on this Alex. Hold on, what are you doing? This is not okay, Alex. Alex. 9x100 FC on the CS8 Hard Rock. What on earth was that? Supporting combo is definitely better for Arizona there, but it doesn't even matter when you have this man putting out an almost 99 FC. You're not supposed to be doing that on this map, man. You're not supposed to be FCing this map, and you're definitely not supposed to be FCing with 98.5 accuracy. What the hell? And Virginia securing their 3rd point in a row as Arizona looks to fight back with a No Mod 1 pick, going away from the tapping after that disaster of a No Mod 5. NCL Bop saying he hates aim, so probably just gonna be seeing Polar and Polar and Burning Flare in for this one to accompany Zeke. They are in for some big spacing aim. Be some 103, effectively 206 BPM cross screen jumps, mostly verticals with a little bit of horizontals, but the jumps do kind of go on for a long time in this map. They sort of just don't let up, so it does get to the point where it's just a little bit of aim stamina even. How long you can maintain the aim, the jump 1-2s. We are in the lobby. It is going to be NCL Bop in instead of Burning Flare, despite saying how much he hates aim. So it's going to be him and Polar to accompany Zeke, Evergreen all-rounder of Arizona, as they look to put their first point on the board. As, of course, losing a second break point in a row here would be quite catastrophic for them, putting Virginia up at 4-0. And on the other side, we do have Steve, Deppy, and Pi in for this one. Not exactly their main skill sets, but definitely capable of playing them. Of course, some incredible skill cap on the mechanics for Deppy. Not quite having the aim specialist, however. That one person who is just a beast at the aim. It's going to be Polar, the first to drop. So we get into this Ki section. Some 1-2 spams, and NCL Bop close to fall behind him. Oh, Virginia, and there goes Zeke as well. None of Arizona able to hold through this first Ki section. You look at the other side, it's 3 FCs at the moment for Virginia. And I'm afraid to say, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a very nice run for Arizona so far, making their best ever run in 5USC history. But they seem to have met their match in the top 16. Steve will finally drop his combo. Still Deppy and Pi to hold into the second half of this map. How are you holding on to these combos? The jumps keep on going. Finally, they'll break, but there's nothing on Arizona to make a recovery happen, especially as NCL drops at the end of that section. It's almost 300,000 score in the favor of Virginia. Let's go into the back half of the map. And it looks like we're already in the back half of this match. Virginia 3-0, looking to make it quick with such dominant performances back to back to back to back now. We do see some more struggles in the back half from Virginia, but it's just Polar to hold on to anything. Arizona, the score lead has fallen to around 200k at this point, but 200k is still quite a bit. And you need even more misses to come in for Virginia. It can't just be Polar alone, and we've already reached the end of the map. There is nothing left to miss on in this ending here. Polar will hold a very nice combo into the ending. 500,000 score to his name, but it is not enough to compete with this Virginia roster. They had already done all the work in the first half, and despite Polar posting the highest score in the lobby, it is Virginia to match with 3 high 400Ks, all within incredibly close proximity of each other, mind you. All within 15K. And it is the team effort of Virginia as Polar lacks the support to compensate. And Virginia take a second break point in a row. Zeke visibly frustrated with that one. A little bit of cursor smoke drawn on his screen in the break. And understandably so. The pick does go back to Virginia at this point. So Virginia, the B team, also playing earlier against Florida B in the upper bracket of minor league, and taking that one 6-1 in another big seed upset. Of course, Virginia favored in this match, but looking to make it 2 for 2 in their team, in their statewide performance this morning, early afternoon, I suppose. You know, well into the afternoon for most of the United States. It's going to be the DT4 for their third pick. It was not picked in Arizona's last match, but they did pick the very similar No Mod 2 where NCO Bot posted a 900k score. Two supporting scores, a little bit worse for wear, around 500k each. So perhaps a bit of a point of reference. But the DT4, a little bit different, a little less stamina intensive, if you can call the No Mod 4 stamina intensive at all. Or the No Mod 2 stamina intensive. Virginia putting up basically 3 FC chokes, no scores south of 800k. Ray with over 1 million and still not able to close out the FC, it looks like. Missing right at the end of the map. Again, looking to be a pretty strong pick for them. And it looks like Zeke has left the lobby on mechanics. Not a good sign for Arizona when your star player isn't feeling it. That might just be an early signal of the end of the line for Arizona's. Gonna get Polar on the right map here, loading into the No Mod 1 instead. Instead, it's gonna be the 3-choose-3. The trio of NCO Bot, Polar, and Burning Flare, usually playing second and third fiddle to Zeke. But now here, they take a stand for their state in their finest hour. It's going to be Deppy Lone FC on the side of Virginia as they do find some breaks in the intro. He traded out by NCL Bop, so a very small lead for Arizona at the moment, despite Zeke's absence, despite your captain missing. NCL Bop dropping again in the Ki. So that will send things in favor of Virginia now. Polar dropping as well. Second man down. As the recoveries are building on the other side. We get through that first Ki. Burning Flare, the only one left standing for Arizona. The last bastion of defense against this 3-man press from Virginia. Deppy, Pie, and Gray. Pushing forward into the second Ki. Gray faltering a little bit, and there goes Burning Flare. The recoveries are there, but no, there goes NCL Bop. Polar, the only one to stand with a modicum of resistance for Arizona, but there's nothing in the face of a Deppy FC and Pi reverse choke. Gray will find some more struggles in the slow section, but it matters not as they're already on a 400,000 score lead. Make that 500,000. And Seal Bop writing out "lol" in the smoke. As Arizona is just Polar to hold on at this point, but there is nothing left to do in this map. Polar finally dropping on one of those back and forths. And it will be Virginia to continue their minor league dominance. They will not falter in this lower bracket. They will go further than just the top 16. They will secure another match point. Of course, not over for Arizona yet, but when you're losing by 1 million points on the DT4 and the other maps have gone how they have, it is not good look. And that is FC on Deppy and a repeat from Pi. 1104 combo. That is a repeat of what Gray did yesterday on this map. 1102 combo, probably just a early miss into a reverse choke. Gray unfortunately struggling a little bit more in the middle of that map today, but it doesn't matter. Arizona on their last legs. It's a very quick Hardock one pick, and NCL bot putting question marks in the lobby chat. The captain perhaps taking them where they don't want to go. What is this? Could we be seeing some infighting in the Arizona camp? Arizona, regardless of what happens here today, even if this does end in a sweep, they have already made the top 16. They should hold their heads high, prideful. You really want them to, but this little exchange in the chat is a little concerning for the team morale. And Zeke not even in the lobby for this one again. You really hate to see it. Like, come on. You can't be mental booming here. We are in the map, and once again, no Zeke. It's Burning Flare, Polar, and NCL Bob. No Mr. No Life, no Takora, no Zeke. Just the 3 mechanics fills. Up against the trio of Gray, Pi, and Alex the JPEG. This man who posted a 98.5 FC on the Hard Rock 2 just earlier. It's going to be Burning Flare, the first to break, followed by NCL Bob right behind him. As Arizona facing match point here against an opponent that seems to be a bit too much of a Goliath at this point in time. It's going to be a double break from Pi and Gray, however, so Polar once again in the 1v1 against Alex the JPEG, taking the place of Burning Flare on the Hard Rock 2. But this is not a 1v1 that is in your favor. And there he goes right out of the break. The slider break, clearly frustrated with that one, a little bit of a cursor dance. And that is so unfortunate for Arizona. And he knows now Alex has held through that section. And this really is looking like the beginning of the end for Arizona in 2026 5-digit United States Cup. Alex will find a break. The score lead has not gone too far yet, but there goes NCL Bop, the only recovery on side of Arizona. Meanwhile, Gray is still holding. Lead is 100k, and on a map this long, 2.5 minutes, 100k is a lot. We are into another Ki section, however, so we'll have to see if Gray can hold enough. Even if he can't hold, however, the recoveries from Arizona are floundering at the moment. Burning Flare and NCL Bop with nothing. Continuously finding breaks. And it's just Polar to try and match at the moment. But he has to match two combos, Gray and Alex the JPEG, as his recoveries continue to struggle on this map. Gray just continuing with this 800 combo. Holding on for so long. To the ending section now, even. Eclipsing Alex's score, and there goes the recovery of Polar. Traded out by Alex, but Gray is still there. Pi is still there. And it looks like, after such an amazing run from Arizona, reaching their highest finish in 5USC history yet, they will go not with a bang, but with a whimper, as Virginia finish the clean sweep 6-0 and move on to the minor league losers bracket semifinals. Gray, very impressive score there. A 1 miss on this Hard Rock 1. It's nothing to scoff at, despite how I am coughing at the moment. And there is your winning team for this match, Virginia A. Congratulations to Steve. Pi is the best. Alex the JPEG. Sidetrack Day, also known as Debbie. Dancore, Danny, and Gray for continuing their winning ways in the minor league, making it to the semifinals. 9th, 12th. One more win to match their best performance yet of 7th to 8th. We'll have to see if they can make it there next week. But for now, we must congratulate Arizona on their best performance yet, as they do exit the stage left, and hand Virginia their flowers for their victory today. A bit of a somber ending to this one. We do have more matches going on. Of course, Florida A versus Wisconsin A happening on the A stream right now. So we'll send you guys over there with a raid to catch that action. And then It's going to be a little bit of a break until 22 UTC when we come back with Michigan B and Texas C and continue the block with 23, 0, and 1 onward into the night. We will see you, of course, got lots of potential matches yet to be realized in the lower bracket as well, so make sure you're on the lookout for those. We can always have more matches coming, but for now, that has been it from me. I have been Bless. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will go ahead and see you guys over on that A stream. Go have some fun. See you guys next time.